Normally when you come into legal aid, you have to, we do an intake. We find out whether or not you're eligible for legal aid based on your finances and all. And what we've been doing lately is basically taking everybody that comes in on a foreclosure. I'm sure that there are going to be exceptions, but if you're going through this, for the most part, you can't afford to pay an attorney. And we recognize that, and we're willing to help you. One thing that I'm going to repeat, and you're probably going to hear throughout this night, is as soon as you feel that you might be in trouble, don't waste any time. If you don't waste time, you will have more and more options, okay? It's when you sit back and you think that it's going to go away and you ignore it or you're in denial, that's when you really get hurt. Very often we have people walking in and they don't even realize that the house was already foreclosed on. They don't realize that the house is gone. They don't even own it anymore because they sit back until the last possible second. You don't know how important it is to take action as soon as you, even if you haven't missed a payment yet, if you foresee that you are going to have problems in the future, the best thing you can do is act on it right then and there and possibly get a modification on your loan through Stephanie, or legal aid will try to help you in some way by contacting the bank or whatever. But don't sit on it because your options will be gone before you know it. As I don't know how much it was talked about already, but a law was recently passed where the bank has got to give a homeowner 90 days notice before they can start proceedings, okay? So you will get a notice 90 days before anything even happens, okay? 90 days telling you, get moving on it. If you get a letter like that, get moving on it. You don't sit back and wait for a summons and complaint to come, all right? When that does happen, when a summons and complaint does come, make sure you come to us. Make sure you get legal counsel immediately because that's when things start happening faster, okay? Normally when you get a summons and complaint, you're also going to get, it's a law. It's required. This is one thing that we could even fight if it doesn't happen. You're going to get a piece of paper. It has to be on a brightly covered piece of paper, yellow, green, red, orange, whatever. It says, help for homeowners in foreclosure. It's supposed to tell you what your options are, where to go, what to do. Don't ignore it, okay? This is so important. I think people feel like or not everybody, but some people feel that it's just another bill to be paid and you know what, you'll get to it when you get to it. No, you're going to lose your house, all right? So if you get the summons and complaint, please come into legal aid and we'll help you. We have different things that we can do. And one thing I want to go back on, even if you are working on modifying your loan with either Stephanie or you're doing it on your own. You're calling a loss mitigation department with your bank, and they're saying, okay, we're going to help you. Send in these documents, send in your tax returns, do this, do that. Don't sit back and not have the legal end of it taken care of. In other words, still come in. If you get the summons and complaint, come in. While Stephanie's working on it, while the bank is working on it with you, whoever you're working with, while they're working on it, it's imperative that we get an answer in for you, if we can, if you have grounds for it, obviously. But it's imperative you do that then, because what people don't seem to realize is, while the loss mitigation department is working with Stephanie, is working with you, the bank attorneys are going full speed ahead on this foreclosure. And they're working to, what their job is to foreclose on your house. Their job isn't to try to work it out or whatever. They're getting paid to foreclose your house. That's what they care about, okay? So they're going full speed ahead. No matter what the bank is doing, they're still working towards getting this house foreclosed on. So that's why you don't just say, okay, well, I'm working on it, I don't have to answer this summons and complaint. Yes, you do. And you have to do it immediately. There's not a lot of time to waste in that regard because the next thing you know, you'll find out your house is gone, okay? And I'm not trying to be very grim. I'm just trying to make you realize you can't just sit back. You just can't. There are things that could be done, okay? When you do come into legal aid, what we do what Stephanie will do, and that is we're going to ask you for a lot of paperwork. We're going to ask you for a copy of your mortgage. We're going to ask you for a copy of the note. We're going to ask you for disclosure statements. We're going to ask you basically for everything that you got at the time that you closed on your loan. We want as much information as possible. some of those documents they could be crucial in saving you from this foreclosure, such as a truth in lending statement, the RESPA statement, things like that. We need to look at what happened at the time you closed on your loan. With these documents, we may have certain defenses. We may be able to look at it and say, you know what, this is a predatory loan. This is I'm sorry, if I could go back. We might look at it and say, okay, this loan, the interest rate was way too high. The payments were way too high from the outset. You should have never gotten this loan. What happened here? Why was this loan given? But there's many, many defenses that we can come up with. We might find that you weren't even properly served. That's the way we can get it knocked out. We might find that the loan was given to another bank and it wasn't properly assigned. Therefore, the person that's trying to sue you for this foreclosure doesn't even have standing to do it because they don't even own the note in the mortgage. So that's another defense you may have. But the bottom line is we may be able to look at the papers. We may be able to do something for you that you don't even realize exists. So please don't wait on it. Especially when you get the summons and complaint, come in. We will work with you. We will see if we can put an answer. And if nothing else, we should be able to buy you some time on it. One thing I do want to mention is even if it goes so far as having your house sold, if you find that your house was already sold, that the bank bought it back or a private person bought it, whatever, and you're facing eviction, we could usually work with you in that regard. We may be able to buy you time on the eviction. We've had cases where we were able to get in touch with the bank who bought back the mortgage and worked it out where the person stayed for like 3 months beyond when they would be able to stay because the bank is willing to work with you. You know, the bank doesn't really want the house, but you know what? They're stuck with it. They're going to have to sell it. They're going to have to get rid of it in some way. So very often they will be willing to work with the homeowner and let them stay in at least for a few months. So don't give up just because you were foreclosed on. You can come in and we'll try to help you at least stay in the house a little longer. Okay? Thank you.